also the fact that the other two heroes that he's been given recently are the Bristleback, which we saw the other day when they were up against Cloud9, and the Centaur Warrunner as well. So he's got like this little hero puddle that I feel like they feel really comfortable giving him. But they respect the Tusk on the side of Quincy Crew, so that's gonna get taken out. DK, I've seen so much DK and I'm so sick of it.
Really?
To be quite honest. Yeah, we've seen so much. Just most of my brain has been in NA Dota right now, NASA. Envy has been playing like a crazy amount of DK as well, that and Quap. But yeah, it's very versatile. We're seeing it being run in multiple lanes as well. And it's just boring for me because he's a very steady hero, right? He's one of those
Yep.
heroes that it's very difficult to kill, generally, unless you have it specifically set up. He pushes towers, and he's just very tanky. Like, there's nothing very flashy about a Dragon Knight, generally speaking. So, kind of
Yeah.
glad to see him taken out.
I mean, as a coach, I enjoy that hero because you get to build around it really nicely. You get to take that outer ring of towers down, and you get to decide, all right, are we going initiation or full tank mode this game? But that would have been too easy to execute. And I think it's a good idea from Quincy Crew to just take out a couple of these staples that are easy to execute. When you're dealing with a lineup like the EG one, that is just a little bit like it's not their full lineup, is it? I'm sure they're getting used to it though by now.
Yeah, this is what their third tournament, I want to say, that they've been running with Bulba and Ryoya. Because they did We Save, and then they also did the ESL LA league as well. So, yeah, I'm sure they're feeling
Yeah.
comfortable. I think I actually listened to a podcast with Dan Offen. What is that? The Position
Great
6
dude.
podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he was talking with Ryoya, and he asked him, how are you fitting in? Are they like kind of letting you just do your own thing, or are they working like around you, or are they guiding you? And he said that it's been very much a team experience, which is pretty cool. Like the fact that they are working all together. It's not just he's on his own little island, and they're like, okay, well, this is how Ryoya plays, so we're gonna, adjust a
Mm-hmm.
bit.
That's really
So that's
nice to
pretty
hear.
cool.
And they are taking a long time for this pick over here. It's Earth Spirit and Nature's Prophet.
Is this where
Interesting.
are we going to see the hippie draft coming out this time around after the spirits draft?
Maybe. I've always found NP into Grimstroke interesting just because Grim is, in fact, very good at dealing with Nature's Prophet pushes just because of the nature of his Stroke of Fate being so good against these big waves of creeps. Mm,
Mm.
but on the other hand, he's also a very fragile back. Like, he wants to be in very far out of the action, and a Nature's Prophet TPing on top of him. He doesn't really have any defense against something that just right clicks him like that. So in that sense, both heroes kind of they have their ways against each other. And then Earth Spirit, Ember first phase.
It's been a very hotly contested hero
Yeah.
in this particular region. Also, the fact that you can use that Grimstroke and put the Inkswell on any
Mm-hmm.
sort of mobile hero, right, and then be able to just get that extra stun is super super value.
Yeah, great combination. As well as this is a signature hero for Quinn, isn't it?
It is one of the popular ones. I'm not sure if they've run it as a position 4 as well. I know that's also been something that people have been doing, but I think most recently, if I'm taking a look at some of this, it is usually Quinn playing it. Yeah.
Yeah, I know a couple of people who really want to make it happen on 4, especially with meme hammers in the mix. But maybe that's. I think the hero is
A little
good, but
too
maybe not
wild.
that good. Yeah, I mean, I love seeing wild stuff like that.
How do you feel about the Weaver position 4? Because that's been seeing more and more attention, it feels.
I want to see it in combination with, I don't know, stuff like Tusk, where you get more out of the extra hits, or in this case, the Grimstroke with an Inkswell on top of it. You really gotta synergize with that because otherwise, you're getting into a space where you gotta have disables on your cores, and that makes it so hard to draft. So you gotta make up in some way for the fact that a Weaver offers only a very specific skill set.
That makes sense.
But I like it a lot more than Weaver Core, that's for sure.
Well, we haven't seen many of those, luckily. Been seeing mostly just the position 4 when he does pop up, generally.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the next question is what else are we going to see picked up? A lot of the very popular picks have already been banned out. The Phoenix has been seeing a lot of of play generally, as well as the Snapfire because she's a really great counter to it. Chen, we saw some pretty interesting stuff over in Europe with Chen 33 playing that core. That was interesting.
I
Don't
really
think that's
enjoy
something
that.
they have to worry about here, but oh, Necrophos.
Ooh, now that is an interesting twist already. So Necro NP, this this talks push to me.
Well, that's kind of the name of the game right now is you win your lanes and then you hit that one power spike and you start pushing. And you don't stop.
Yeah. Well, then the question here is Quincy Crew going to answer this with more push, or are they going more in the team fight direction? Because I do think that EG is a little bit light on the team fight here, and especially if the Earth Spirit and Nature's Prophet are both going to be supports, which is very possible, then the team fight's going to come from the cores, which is, once again, a bit hard to draft sometimes. And Quincy's going to have to think about that. Like, they could pick up an AA here, for example. I think I'd actually quite like that. Gives you some global potential against the global potential of the Nature's Prophet as well, although you are very vulnerable this game. That's the problem with AA is that he doesn't like to be pushed, but he is also very good against a lot of the heroes that enable push drafts. So you're really like, do we have enough frontline for this guy? Do we have enough synergy for this guy? Do we make it out of the lanes well enough? And oh, they go Nyx Assassin. Okay. Also, very good against the Necrophos. Also, doesn't really like to get pushed in though. He's okay if you take like his first ring of outer towers, you give him some dark space on the map to work with. But then if you push him even harder, it gets like Nyx needs his levels, and he needs like an item at some point. So
10 seconds remaining.
you're going to have to see
It
how
also
Quincy thinks they can get out
it
of lanes.
makes the lane pretty weak though too, right? Like when you pick up something like an Nyx Assassin. Are you at all worried about that, especially because you do have an Earth Spirit on the side of Evil Geniuses who's going to be able to rotate quite a bit?
Depends a little bit on like the lane that the Earth Spirit's going to get stuck in, for example. You would know this better than me because you've been looking at NA. Have they been running this Ember Spirit in the side lane as well?
I don't think I actually got to watch any of the Quincy Crew games, come to
Mm,
think of it.
all
Like
right.
I mean I got to watch them, but I didn't get the chance to like cast them. And there's been so much Dota going on. I think generally though they're running the Ember mid on the side of Quincy Crew. Again, because it is one of Quinn's signature heroes. What I'm wondering with Evil Geniuses is if we're gonna see a gyrocopter eventually. Because you talked about that being very light on the lockdown, but also being able to push, or not lockdown, but the team fight rather. My bad.
Mm-hmm. And
Void
it
Spirit though.
doesn't seem like they're going that direction at all. I mean, Void Spirit is a team fighter in the sense that he can get a lot out of a lot of heroes being together. Um, just because of his physical
10
barrier
seconds remaining.
getting all the way up to the max. If you do that, he's good at assassinating
5
supports, which,
seconds remaining.
well, this Grimstroke is going to have a pretty rough game. I have played that matchup myself, being the Grimstroke, and it was not fun. Mm,
It feels like you need very specific kind of lockdown for a Void Spirit as well, which
yeah.
can be difficult. I know, like in the past, like Puck's kind of like a really good hero because he can follow him. He's very mobile. Grimstroke, of course, does have the silence, which is pretty nice. The Inkswell, but it's just hard. You have to get something to lock down a Void Spirit pretty quickly. The Nyx Assassin possibly too, right? Because of the fact that he can go Vendetta, he can catch him out, but if he doesn't have that burst potential, if he doesn't have the +1, he's not going to be able to do too much because the Void Spirit is just going to dissimulate and, step away.
Yeah, Void
Evil
Spirit is.
geniuses turn to
He laughs at Inkswell. And
Okay.
Gyrocopter, alright. I'm concerned a bit for Quincy Crew that they're going to have to pick up some real frontline here because this is starting to look very squishy. And there's a lot of sustain and a lot of burst damage on the side of EG. Just a lot of damage in general. And they are definitely tankier over on that side, especially
10
if that Void
seconds
Spirit gets a
remaining.
blade mail up, for example. I'm not sure how you're
5
going to
seconds
survive the
remaining.
opening of a team fight without losing a couple of heroes.
Yeah, I'm not sure how this team fight even really kind of gets started either. That is a big question mark right now because you can have the Nyx Assassin try to trail around to the back lines, but I don't know. No Darkseer, so they assume that they're still looking for that off lane, which would make sense. I think they're still
Yeah.
looking for the off lane unless I guess the Necrophos could be running the the offlane. I think Bulba has played that.
And that would make a lot more sense than Bulba
10
Void Spirit,
seconds
which
remaining.
is, I don't see that as a combination. So that's
No, I don't
either
think
a.
you do. I think it's gonna
5 seconds remaining.
probably be Ryoya if I had to guess, like a mid.
Mhm.
Dire team pick.
And Void Spirit versus Ember Spirit matchup is an interesting one because obviously the Void Spirit gets a lot of physical damage reduction, but the Ember Spirit doesn't care about that, so you can just Flame Guard this Void Spirit down. I've seen Void Spirits do decently in that lane, but it's usually Ember favored.
10 seconds
I was gonna ask who
remaining.
the better spirit is. I know Jenkins jokes a lot of the times that he says that Void Spirit and Ember
5
Spirit are
seconds
practically the
remaining.
same hero in a lot of ways. In fact, one of the big NA spammers of Ember Spirit is Shaggy, and if he can't get Ember Spirit, he'll take Void Spirit and he wrecks on it. And again, Jenkins says it's because it's so similar in design. Oh, okay, we get the Dazzle pickup.
Yeah, the design is very similar, although of course, like Ember Spirit absorbs a lot of Void Spirit's magical burst damage, and in turn uh, ignores Void Spirit's physical protection. So, in like the straight matchup, Ember usually does better.
Okay.
Of course, Ember doesn't
10
have that
seconds
lockdown that
remaining.
Void Spirit needs, but neither can Void Spirit usually lock down an Ember.
5 seconds remaining.
Dazzle last. So this is gonna be a core Dazzle then.
That's what it looks like. Unless somehow they decide they want to go with the Nyx Assassin being the offlaner, but I prefer him as a 4 personally. And a Terrorblade for Arteezy. Ooh, that's a draft.
That is a draft and a half. Yeah, so that's a Bulba Necrophos, which is I like the way that they've kept his role very singular as well. Then if you look at all of these heroes, he's gonna go in. He's gonna provide his team with a lot of vision and sustain through the damage that comes out from the opponent. And then, Fly is gonna teleport around. You're going to have Ryoya being able to jump in and out of the fight based on that vision that Bulba is going to give them. And they're basically playing like that every single game. If I look at the rest of his hero pool, like the Centaur and the Tusk, and what was the last one again?
Centaur, Tusk, and
Bristleback.
Bristleback is what he's been playing,
Yeah.
yeah.
So he's
Very
he's gonna have
survivable
that role
heroes,
again.
generally.
He's gonna run in. He's
10
gonna give vision,
seconds
and then
remaining.
these more hard to execute cores are gonna dance around him
5
basically.
seconds remaining.
And then we also have a Terrorblade versus Gyrocopter. Depends a little bit on if Yawar can get like a really fast game going, but all of these cores on the side of Quincy Crew need items to get involved right now. Dazzle versus the TB. That's also a rough lane. With the TV having so much armor, you can't really click him out of the lane.
That's definitely going to be interesting. I am kind of leaning towards Evil Geniuses draft right now, just because of the fact that, they have really good ways of starting fights, getting in, sustaining. They've got a lot of push potential behind them, too. I just like this draft a little bit better than Quincy Cruz, like you said. There's just a little too many parts that have to kind of fit together, and they have to wait for specific items.
Mm-hmm.
I think that EG's got a nicer draft, but what do you think,
No.
Kips? Who do you think is going to take this first game here?
I'm going to enjoy looking at if MSS can hold his grave until Bulba decides to drop the scythe on someone.
Right.
On draft, I think the ease of execution is with Evil Geniuses here, but I do think that Quincy has a lot of ways to just get back into this, find openings. They have a lot of damage. If they get all the pieces moving, this Nyx Assassin can be a real problem for a lot of these heroes on the side of EG. So let's see. I favor EG, but
Rest easy,
there's
child.
interesting ways for this thing to happen.
Is it one of those games where we're on a timer, so to speak? Is this one of these things where EG looks really, really good until you start to see this Ember start to pick up and the Gyrocopter getting his items?
No, I'd say they're pretty evenly matched in the late game as well, especially with the scaling on the support. What
I think I
I'd
just
want
lost
to...
Kips.
Oh,
Whoa.
sorry. I was
Hi.
I was muting accidentally. Give me
Oh, okay. I
you're
was like,
you're gonna lose me again actually.
Uh-oh.
No worries, no worries. Just sometimes a door needs to be opened and a lot of people do not want to hear that.
Understood. Understood. For those of you that don't know, Kips is in the wilds of Is
Finland.
Scandinavia? Yes, Finland.
Yes, Finland.
I wasn't sure if I
Technically,
could be that specific. I don't know. I didn't want to. I didn't want to dox you kids.
I mean,
But
what does it look like behind me? It's a wood cabin. I've also been tweeting a lot about being in Finland, I think, and the
that's
fact that
true.
it's still bloody snowing up here.
I am so sorry. We had a winter warning where I am, and it is definitely not snow season. But a
Battle begins.
little bit of a battle here for the runes. Looks like they're trying. Nice stun coming out from Biver. We'll be able to go and collect the bounty rune bottom, Bulba grabbing the rune top. So should be a pretty even split.
Yeah, so what I'm looking for in the tempo of this game is I think Quincy Crew gets the opening in about the...
Interested to watch this mid lane matchup between Ryoya and Quinn here. Like you said, if on paper it should be the Ember Spirit who gets the better of this, but it's always fun to watch two mid players go up against each other, especially within the region.
Yes, and these two probably have a lot of experience playing up against each other.
I would definitely assume so.
So what I'm going to be looking for this game is really how much Bulba can get done. Like, the mid-game tempo is going to be on him. If Quincy Crew manage to break that, kill him a couple of times, and they have the tools to do that, I'd say, then there's going to be a window there where they can really take over the midsection of this game until the Terrorblade gets really big, because that takes out the tank and the Vision Force on the side of EG.
I think this is pretty difficult
And
up
he
here. In fact,
is
we do
in
get the
trouble right now as well.
Yeah, they've just been chipping away at him. They know that he doesn't have the Earth Spirit. This is going to be the first blood. And Yuar's getting the kill on Bulba. And this is a big problem because, like we said, a lot is being placed on his shoulders to kind of carry this mid-game. And I believe it was, I think Blitz was talking about. He says when Bulba has a good game, or rather a good lane, rather, he ends up having a very good game. Things end up fitting exactly the way they want it. But if Bulba does not have a good game, they tend to struggle a lot more.
Yeah, and it's partially just the way that their draft is constructed, and Necrophos is certainly not no slouch of a laner. What is... I'm a bit confused that it's still keeping the creep wave so far back, even with Bulba getting in trouble, because they both have level 2 now. I think the lane gets a little bit easier. They have some options to actually peel Yor and SVG off of the Necrophos now if they decide to go again.
It's still a very scary lane when you consider like all the tools in the kit here for Quincy Crew, with the you know, the Inkswell possibility, the fact that, you know, Gyrocopter just does a lot of damage early on. Got
Yeah,
my
if
eyes
they-
up here on it, but
If they burst the creep wave with the Stroke of Fate, then after that you can get a lot of damage out of a Rocket Barrage. But right now Yor doesn't even have the Rocket Barrage skilled yet. Ooh, look at that stroke.
so roll in. Try to harass just a little bit. Black Cannon coming out. It's the Inkswell we talked about. They're trying to push Bulba away. I think they're gonna really hard commit on this. SVG taking some harass here is gonna be brought pretty low. But it's gonna be it for now.
Now let's take a look at these other lanes then. Right now, CCNC's actually outplaying Ryoya on the mid lane.
And that's kind of what you said, right? You figured that this is a hero that is very good at harassing. You have to play a little bit more carefully against the Ember Spirit, so I don't think it's too big of a surprise there. I think rune control is going to be pretty important. They can take the runes away from Quinn so he's not to make a lot of moves around the map and get that momentum.
Sorry, I had a bit of a brain fart there. What I meant is that I like that Ryoya is keeping up, not the other way around. I'm so used to having to explain why Ember Spirits are doing better in lane than they should, when this is a lane where he should be doing well.
It's okay.
Man, oh
Quinn's
man.
getting very aggressive here, though. You see, Nature's Prophet was thinking about TPing in. Ryoya sitting fairly low, but they'll back off.
I mean, it's
That's
pretty
being
hard
thrown
for
out
the
on Bulba
NP
here.
Radiant's middle tower
to do anything. Yeah, Bulba's just gonna get pressured out of lane. Like, anytime crit rotates over to bot, and they can follow that with the ward they have up here as well. So anytime they see crit moving out, it's open season on Bulba. And
Poor
SVG
Boba.
has to, yeah, SVG has to keep him out of the lane as well, because otherwise the Heartstopper aura is going to really make it hard for your to stay into the lane.
This is not looking good for Bulba. He is going to get taken down again, and they're not even going to be able to go and find a return kill here, as Crit has to run away. But is going to be able to make it out perfectly fine here. Just sitting a little
Very
low.
nicely done. And in the meanwhile, we haven't talked about bot lane yet at all. But there's just no kill potential here, is there? Like,
They
Fly
keep
could
pinging
overstep
things
maybe.
out. Like it felt like Fiverr and MSS wanted to try to make something happen, but although we say that now, nice and pale, throw it out on Arteezy, a good heal bomb coming out from the Dazzle. But
It's the lane with the damage doesn't have a stun. The lane with the stun doesn't have the damage, basically.
oh, as we get a kill on SVG, Ryoya making his first rotation top, that double damage coming in handy. That's gonna feel pretty good, and they find a big old stack over here. I wasn't paying attention. Is this... I'm guessing that they pulled this off on the side for themselves, right? Were they pulling?
Yeah, I
saw
think...
Crit, like, spending some time over here.
I've seen Bulba do it as well.
Oh, and bottom lane, Biver now trying to run away. They already managed to take down the Dazzle. And they'll find themselves another kill. All of a sudden, after the 5-minute mark, everybody's ready to make rotations and murder.
And there's a dive on mid.
Quinn is trying to make something happen here, but not going to be able to quite finish it off. And top lane, too.
Oh,
Bulba just
man.
kind of
Bulba?
getting body blocked over here. SVG doesn't have the spell, so looks like Bulba's going to be able to make it out.
He's still doing alright on his levels, though. And in general, I'd say for how rough of a lane this is, he has been doing pretty well for himself.
Definitely not a comfortable lane for Bulba, especially whenever they know that Crit's not there, right? They're just bullying and ganging up on him. Although, looks like they do spot out Crit over here on the side. They'll cancel out the polarity. Just a little poking
And Quinn
prodding.
is in on Ryoya again.
We got the courier though. And Quinn's sitting a little bit low, does have that remnant. He's gonna be able to just back off, bottle up, come right back in again. Oh, they try to cancel the TP, not quite. Not
That was
quite fast
cheeky.
enough for Ryoya.
It might give away his ward as well. It would be a shame if he lost his mid ward for that. But, you know, if you're Quinn, you could just think that he is that good, you know?
I'm sure they've been studying a little bit. Looks like they tried to make some moves on Fly here in the bottom lane, but Arteezy, he's got the Metamorphosis up. Is he going to be able to get the final hit over here on MSS? He will find it. SVG making his own rotation. Can they find? No, I don't think they're going to be able to. They have to back off. They just don't have the damage to take down Arteezy.
And this is where the Ember Spirit really comes in for the side of Quincy. He's going to be the one who has to deal most of the damage to the Terrorblade, because you don't want the Terrorblade to be on top of the Gyrocopter most of the game. And oh, I'm not sure Quinn's...
Quinn, he finds a kill on Crit. They're looking for more. They're looking for Ryoya. They should be able to get this no problem. See you later.
I'm not sure why Ryoya had none of his Astral Steps up. I'm guessing he thought it was pretty close to a recharge. It was like 5 seconds or so off, so maybe he was going to get it back, but yeah, that was not a moment to be down in the river.
And they knew that they were making that rotation too, so I'm a little surprised at the aggression coming out, but perhaps they thought it would just be a very quick pick sort of situation.
So I'm curious to see where the first tower tempo is going to go, because right now Earth Spirit's already getting some levels mid. SVG is doing the same mid, and you can see that Quinn, he kind of wants to rotate more right now. Ryoya as well. See some lines being drawn up, yeah. Bulba probably has to back out.
Actually, you are who's gonna back out. He'll TP right out. Crit making this roll though over here. He's sitting very, very low. Quinn's looking for this kill. He's gonna be able to find it. Ryoya joining in. Needs to be careful. There's quite a few Quincy crew members here over here, as Bulba also TPing over. They'll get the pull in here over onto Quinn. Nice and pale coming off of Fiverr. Stroke of Fate hits a lot of targets. Bulba backing off.
Great positioning there from
too.
this VG.
They're going in on Bulba. I get that. Oh, it's a very dead Bulba. Ryoya is not going to be able to help him. He's trying to see if he can find anything else here, but he's forced to run away. In comes Arteezy. He doesn't have the meta, but they're diving pretty hard now. Ryoya, he's taken out
nice
by
stun.
UR. Crit's not looking too healthy either. He's going to get taken out.
The tier 1 is still
what's
up.
going on here? What is happening? Arteezy's like, what am I doing? Like, where's my team? What's happening? In bottom lane, Fly,
they're dead, Archer.
trying. They are. They're very dead. Quinn's going to be able to TP out, no problem. And Viver's just able to just walk away like that. That feels really bad right now when you get someone that has gone beyond your tier 2 with your tier 1 still up. Your carry is just like, what's happening? He doesn't have his metamorphosis.
Excellently played by Quinn there as well. They just can't kill him. They don't have enough damage right now, especially not on the magical front. And that means that Yawara has enough time to just walk in from bot side again, come in beautifully from the side. And generally, I really like their positioning in that fight as well. SVG up on the other hill. Drop some vision there as well. And now, with the 2 wards that they got out, they are going to be able to see anything that EG does on their own side of the map. And that's extra valuable because none of their outer towers are down yet. So you can see right now, Arteezy has made his way up top. He's got his metamorphosis. EG knows they gotta break a tower here. They need some more breathing room.
Well, they should be able to get it. And open it up a bit, but like lots of nice
do they?
plays.
Quinn's on top of Ryoya again.
Yeah. They managed to take the top tower. That does give them a little bit of breathing room, but they have a lot of just really nice vision placed all over the place coming out from the side of Quincy crew to keep tabs on EG.
It's very nicely done, and they traded the tower as well, so this is a strict advantage for Quincy crew. Are they going on Ryoya again? They are.
It looks like it. I mean, they have no vision. They don't know that that Biver is here.
Well, SVG has been maxing that Inkswell. If you put that down on Biver and he walks in. Oh! Got him, but nobody's near him again!
I was looking at 2 different lanes. It looks like they were going to jump down over here on Crit as well. You can see them getting into position, Quinn. Oh, he was trying to block it. We'll be able to get the steering chains out. Kick back. Crit's trying to run. The signs being thrown out by SVG. The slow as well. This should be a very dead Crit. Quinn is dominating right now on this Ember Spirit.
And the reason that I was yelling is that Biver went at the same time on Ryoya, and he must have thought that they were all coming for him. So that's also those little moments of confusion in the comms. I was like, "Oh, Biver, why are you going? Your team isn't behind you anymore. They just moved off to bot lane." But that was why. And that's the way you can get away with dives like that on the bot lane, is if there's just so much communication going on in the other team that they don't know where to go, where to react.
Definitely feels like there's just not enough breathing room for this Terrorblade now, especially the way that Quinn has been very active, moving about with his team, taking over the jungle, and again, the vision. The vision is a huge part of this, especially when you have someone like a Nyx Assassin, but again, he needs to be paired up with a +1 generally. He just doesn't have that damage on his own at this time.
Yes, and remember where I was being worried that, Quincy crew was not going to have this period in the mid-game where they could safely move forward and pick fights? Well, Bulba hasn't really been anywhere yet, which means that EG just can't move forward at all. They don't have that tanky core to center themselves around. Anytime someone shows, like Crit Hero mid, he's really got to think about, am I going to get gone on here? And the answer is yes.
Oh, Crit. Oh, and in comes Quinn. He says, "Thank you very much. I will take that." It's just, these pickoffs are so quick and clean. And then again, you just see this efficiency coming out from the side of Quincy crew. Just go right back to farming, right back to, taking away resources on the map. So it's forced Arteezy to be in this little triangle for the most part. He can't really go anywhere else. And they don't have great protection for him either over here. They don't even have an ward.
They don't. They have a deep ward over on the, in the Radiant jungle, in the Dire jungle, but the problem is that Quincy crew has never been pushed back this far yet.
No,
they've
been
double
in
damage.
total control here.
And the Spirit Vessel up on Quinn. Bulba does not have a game anymore. And this Spirit Vessel is really going to hinder Ryoya as well. He is going for that blade mail, so that's going to enable him to fight at least, but he's got to get space to get that last Robot Magi up, and right now he just doesn't have that. Arteezy's cleared out the triangle. Quinn's just on their doorstep, and there's a Nyx Assassin lurking somewhere. They haven't had vision of him for a while again.
No, he's just been bouncing between the mid and the bottom lane the entire time, hoping that anyone's going to, you know, slip up, maybe try to go out for a warding expedition on their own, break a smoke or whatnot, but, you know, Quincy Crew just playing. Occasionally you'll see MSS move top, but runes are up, and we'll see that Fly will be able to secure at least one of these, if not two. If get there in time. No, he changed his mind at the last second. Then there's going to be a roll over here. Crit trying to run away. I don't think he's going to be able to, though, with Quinn and that double damage. He's going to find the final hit. And Ryoya's running out of this triangle, as is Bulba. They don't want anything to do with this.
Yep, and MSS, he's joining again now. It's because he's got that Necro book finished, and it means that he can really get something done. Is going to finish a mech now. You're going to see Greaves on this guy pretty soon, and after that the pushing wagon really gets going. Oh, Bulba gets found. Quinn's on top of him, still got that DD.
Yeah, this is not looking good for Bulba right now. He was trying to, you know, he's trying to make space, right? He's trying to make some room for Arteezy so he can at least, you know, go out, farm the jungle. Sometimes these little sacrifices have to get made. Ryoya now has to run away, though. Is going towards that blade mail like you talked about. But
yeah,
again, this gives Arteezy a little bit more breathing room. They know where they are. They forced the rotation. Is it great that Bulba died? No, but he's having a very difficult game as it is. You might as well try to make something with the death.
It's really necessary at this point. Yawara has got his Aghanim Scepter up, and
do you agree with that assessment? I know Jenkins usually likes to talk about that. Says, oh, hold that thought. Quinn, mid lane.
Going
trying to make some moves on crit. You can see the more rotations coming out here. It's just so hard to lock him down with what they have, right?
Yes, and that means that they need to bring so many heroes to try and catch him. But really the only one who can do anything against him is Crit, and if Crit shows his nose, he's half HP.
Got the Aghanim Scepter up and running on Gyrocopter. He's working on the BKB. It feels like... It doesn't feel like they really have to rush by any means, but it feels like they could definitely put their foot on the gas pedal if they'd like right now. Take another objective.
I think that is the next time you're going to see an objective taken like properly, unless, you know, EG gives them a good fight right now, is when the BKB on that Gyrocopter is up, and then they're going to feel really confident to fight into the massive damage, magical damage of, for example, this Earth Spirit, and of course of Bulba. And Ryoya.
Oh, the smoke immediately getting broken. They find Crit. And they just delete him. Monster Kill coming out here for Quinn. As the rest of the team, the call down coming out from UR. They'll turn their attention over to easy pickings here. Fly is going to get taken down, and they're still searching for Bulba. That's going to be a missile right to the face as he's just obliterated. It's a double kill now for UR. And I think that's a good enough celebration to go in and try to maybe take an objective, Kips.
Yeah, this looks to be mid tower. If they can get a little bit of a grip on it, although Yawara is not the most interested. They're good with the kind of grip that they have on the game right now. They're not very much bothered with going back to top to deal with Arteezy split pushing, for example. Quinn can do that just fine with the help of some remnants. They have good ward vision on mid, although...
Oh, they should be able to find a kill on Biver. Rhea will be able to collect a nice kill after being poked the entire time this game.
Yeah, and he's getting so poor now. He just hasn't been able to hit creeps. All of the creeps go to Arteezy. Arteezy is looking to move on up.
MSS, the roll forward, that's a dead MSS. Arteezy, bobbing that meta, is going to be able to take a tower and back over
Crit
here on
going
the
deeper.
side. Yeah, he needs some help. He needs his friends to get here. Nice soulbite getting thrown out, though. Will push back Ryoya and Crit as they turn their attention now over to Arteezy. He does have the Sunder still up, so they have to be careful. When sliding around, jumping in back and forth. He'll take the tier 1. Nice stroke. Fate will slow him down a little bit, but it looks like they're going to try to make the moves over here at Crit. Silence going to get thrown out over here onto Beaver. He's going to get thrown over into the trees as he gets pulled in by the Remnant. They're going to find another kill, and now they'll find Fly as well. Quinn is godlike.
He's having a whale of a time here. Very nicely playing around those remnants that Ryoyo throws out. He is just impossible to lock down, especially when Crit has to go so deep in order to keep the attention of Yawar. But yeah, a little bit of a weakness there. You see that as soon as they're 4v5, Quincy crew can't really fight, and their only real frontliner, I mean, they don't have one, is the truth. So a Nyx assassin who is going to be, when he's visible in front, is just going to melt to all of the right clicks. And one of the things that happens when these mid towers get down is that it's very hard for you to TP all of your heroes very deep onto the map. So this was a critical takedown for EG. They really slowed down the game of Quincy crew with that. Unless, of course, they are going to give up Roche here. And with Arteezy on the bot lane, Metamorph spent, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think EG can get in this pit. Yawar's got a double damage right now. He's very close to finishing up the BKB. This is a free Roche right now for the Quincy crew.
And now you can just put your war on the front line without a worry in the world. And it's going to take so much to take him down. He's got the BKB finished, flying out. Moving on into a butterfly. No. Changed his mind.
I think he noticed that that Arteezy does have that Eagle song, so wants to be able to bat it.
It's MKB time.
Alright, so BKB,
Quinn?
Aegis on Yawar.
Quinn's looking for a fly up in the top trees here.
Can't quite find him though.
And he's got the relic ready for a Radiance. So from what we've seen right now is he is already so hard to lock down, which means that he'll stay alive through all of these team fights. And that means he'll be dealing damage all the time. Oh! He got fly!
Boy. He found him! And he just slowly burns him to death. The slow death is the worst death.
Waited patiently until Fly sprouted his treants, and then haha, I was not gone.
Oh, Yawar's trying to make some moves over here. Does have the Nyx assassin nearby.
Aggressive
Immediately
Sunder.
uses that Thunder though. BKB comes out.
Bulba
is not looking healthy. He is just gonna get taken down. Crit's gonna have to roll on out, and I don't think they're gonna be able to quite follow them. It's like Fiverr taking a peek, but not gonna be able to find a stun.
So don't have the vision up here yet.
I have to say the Quincy crews, like, their vision game has been super, super good. Although they find a quick pickoff over on SVG, but now Quinn is here.
He's gonna play
Quinn
with
is
his
ready to
life.
just mention
Yeah.
it's actually gonna be Yawar who gets the kill. And Arteezy has to run back now. Quinn jumping forward, looking for the Searing Chains, does manage to get it, but they have the Manta, MSS jumping in as well. There's those Necroverse. We get the buyback coming out from Bulba. He wants to keep, here Crit jumping back in again as the TP comes out. The holdover onto Quinn. They fight. No, but they have the shadow.
Oh, that's a green!
Keep him alive, Yawar. It's gonna be the Aegis getting popped. They'll be able to finally take down Quinn. That's a lot of gold that's going over to the side of EG as Bulba now. They're trying to take down Yawar a second time. He doesn't have the BKB, he doesn't have the Aegis, and he will fall. Crit, some body blocks coming out. They'll try to take, nope, they cannot grab the Dazzle in time. That was a very nice fight for EG. Did force the buyback out on Crit, but we're able to take down Quinn. Who got that gold?
He'll do that again anytime. All of that gold
Arteezy got the gold.
went to Artur, yes. You have to be really careful with these supports that can provide a ton of utility in a team fight like that. You killed Crit before he used his ult, and if he dives so deep then it means he can get that silence and that slow up on everyone.
It did get turned around very, very nicely. It wasn't looking great at the start here for EG, but like you said, having the silence rolling on in, taking out people at the back lines, made a big difference there. So good turnaround coming up the side of EG.
Yeah, and I think this is the second time now that we've seen Quincy crew overestimate their ability to fight a little bit. Once just after pick-off, not really backing far enough, and Now this time, not respecting the buyback. It's these little things where you can see the difference in like discipline and experience. And it doesn't put them out of the game by any means, but it does mean that the game is slightly harder for them once again. And I said before, late game, these two lineups can pretty much go to toe to toe, and Arteezy is at the top of net worth right now, has been for a while, and he is not going to slow down in any way at all.
Is he going to be enough to carry this game while, you know, the rest of the team kind of plays catch up, is my question, though.
I think so. It's going to be very hard to keep him down for long enough that he can't get his Sunder off. And they don't have any proper burst damage. Most of the damage on the side of Quincy crew is pretty slow in the output.
Well, they do manage to find themselves a kill on Fly, but again, it's the support going down. It's making more space. It's shoving out the lanes. So I think EG is okay with this, but top tower
very
getting
much
pressured now.
Interesting to see how they're posturing here. Like, Arteezy is actually ready to fight if anyone from the side of Quincy crew over-engages. There's TP scrolls up on anyone else on his team. But right now they're more concerned with pushing this side lane. And yep, you gotta see if you can at least trade towers here through some of that split push. Because it means that after a while, Arteezy can start properly threatening the base. And that's why if you're Quincy crew, you're going to maybe get forced out of fights that you really would have liked to take. If Artur can move forwards and actually rat your base, you're in trouble. He pushes faster than you do every single time.
It's like Quinn's not going to hard commit. So Arteezy does find the Nyx Assassin, Fly, making his way over, gets the Trout off. Try to buy him a little bit more time, but I think you are going to lose your Nyx. Yeah, they use the Scythe and everything on him. He is
Now they gotta watch out.
Here. SVG gets drawn in by that Remnant. And they just wait patiently, and that's going to be another kill now for Arteezy.
One by one.
Yeah, they want Quinn too. It's going to be pretty hard for them to grab him though, because he does have the Remnant up. But
so now on Quincy crew, you lost your size, like you lost your information. Nyx Assassin is down. You also don't have the Grimstroke anymore to just push out any random waves, and it means that Arteezy, well, they're not going high ground right now because they want to hold on to that metamorphosis, but as soon as they get a reason, they're going to go for base. And all of the outer towers of Quincy crew are down right now, so if they lose a fight, they're going to be on the back foot immediately.
Crit walking right into Quinn. The silence comes off. They're going to try to just chip him down as fast as possible. They don't want to allow him to get away, but he does have the Remnant up.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
I think that's your opening, right? If you can take down Quinn and then try to pressure the base, get a buyback out of him.
Oh yeah, for sure. But even if Crit like stretches his arrow to the maximum like he did there, you just don't have enough time to chip through all of Quinn. He's pretty tanky with that Spirit Vessel. War's getting clean.
If you take a look at Artur's quick buy, he has a Rapier queued up.
Well, I dare say that they have no good ways to kill him. And
Ooh.
every time he has Metamorphosis up, they can take a fight, and I think they are ready to
we're
go
taking
again
a fight
here.
right here. Crit though immediately gets taken down. We're trying to run
Same
away.
for
Does have the
Byron.
shallow
Oh.
grave on him with the jump forward. You are having to pop his own BKB. The heal's gonna come out. We'll push back the side of EG. So they lose Crit, but they also get a BKB charge out of UR. That is meta though. Oh,
Arteezy
Quinn's
is
going
his as
back
well.
in. He's thinking about it. There's gonna be a nice pull in here, followed by the Soulbind though. Silence is gonna get thrown up. He and Bulba have to move together. As now it looks like Quincy crew trying to back off MSS. He's got that Glimmer Cape to keep him alive maybe a little bit longer, but they have the Scythe. They're gonna be able to take him down again. Fiverr looks like he might be the next one to get taken down. He's still alive, but he is gonna get treed up as the rest of the side of Quincy crew is forced back. Bulba gets himself a double kill.
And you see now that they don't have enough damage anymore. Oh well, that's actually look at your war's quick buy. Now that they don't have enough damage anymore, it is very hard for Quincy crew to focus anyone down on the side of EG. And they regen so fast with the help of Bulba as well. It's
Did they just
ridiculous.
miss their timing on this? Because they had I mean, not gold-wise, but they had a fairly commanding presence in the earlier half of this game. Felt like Quinn was everywhere. He was getting really good pickoffs. Uh, was it just that, UR wanted to back off and he was just farming too much, or?
No, I think they were rightfully waiting for his timings. The problem is, I think that they couldn't squeeze off enough of the map to stop Arteezy from farming. And that's where, if you make like one or two mistakes, it feels like those cost you the game, but the truth is you should have been pressuring Arteezy more, and maybe what you needed for that is to have Quinn on. Oh, Crit
Hold
going in
that
deep!
thought. Crit jumping in. He is going to get taken down here with the call down, followed up with the Soulbind and the Meteor Hammer. Quinn gets himself a double kill. They're chasing now. After all, the BKB comes out from UR. They should be able to get a quick kill, triple kill now for Quinn. He's going for another one. He wants to try to get Fly for Fly. Is he going to be able to just TP out? He is. He just walks away. But this Roche now belongs to the side of Quincy Crew. And UR is very happy about it. That is an Aegis.
Oh,
That's
man.
cheese. Oh, Crit. I think...
No, he has to go there. He has to go there, because if he keeps them busy long enough, they get to finish off the Roche, but instead, they got the Roche too low, they're committed now, and they have to find a way to make it happen. They should have backed off when they saw that the respawn timers were not long enough to get it done, but it's...
That's how the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, I can't do anything but agree with him going in there. If they focus him, if he doesn't run into 4 heroes, like only into 2 or something.
Well, they scanned though. They scanned. They
there.
knew that they were over there, but I guess, like you said, that was the move he had to do, but they just didn't have enough. I don't follow up. I guess I don't know.
I mean, they don't follow up. They have to try and finish the Rose in the time that he buys Bulba.
Bulba. That's
no.
gonna be the end of him. He finished up that Divine Rapier now, though, so he does have to be careful. But he has the Aegis, he's got the BKB. I think they just go right back on in again. I don't think you're too concerned here. Arteezy forced to pop the Manta. Try to keep them off of the base. They do have a repair kit, it looks like, so that's good. Oh, the Science though being thrown out over here on Quinn. It has the double damage, but he's not going to be able to stay alive long enough. He gets taken down by UR. Now Quinn, he's going to go eat the cheese. They get the kill on Crit. Oof.
And they're
just going for the
out
end.
of buybacks from EG, yes.
They know that they've got this momentum. It's going to be very difficult for them now, especially with Arteezy. He does have the meta up, but he can't do anything. He silenced out the BKB. We'll turn back around, though. Maybe get the kill onto Quinn. No, Quinn runs himself away. They'll follow up with the Soulbind, and you are looking at him. That Shallow Grave is doing work, baby. Keeping him alive. They're just going to turn their attention. They do get the buyback coming out from Fly, but I don't think he can do much of anything here. Again, they've still got the meta up. They're going to try to push them back. Will Quincy Crew respect it, though, is the question. Quinn doesn't seem like he wants to. Goes right back in on Arteezy again. A couple slight silence being thrown out. Those creeps aren't going to be able to save him. He's down. That is a GG.
Absolutely great purchase there from UR. He knows they need physical in order to shred through this TV. He gets his up earlier. Like, I guess Arteezy really wanted to get the Rapier in his hands, or sorry, the Aegis in his hands before he bought his Rapier. But as it turns out, that might be the thing that costs them the game there, because they don't get the Roche kill fast enough. And from what looked like a one game, they get turned around on. And very impressive from Quincy Crew to hold on there, take the risks, and yeah, get on top of that Roche pit, because sometimes even EG missteps, and then you get rewarded.
It's crazy, right? With Dota, is that one team fight can really make or break like the streak that you're going on or whatnot, because that Roche was so incredibly important. Crit rolling in there again. They did the scan. They knew they were coming. He knew he had to slow them down. He had to go in for the full committal, because they just did not. They couldn't back off at that point. Otherwise, they just handed over to Quincy Crew. But I wonder how this game would go if that hadn't happened. Just really.
If that hadn't happened, Arteezy steamrolls the Dire base, and we get the same screen at the same time, except it says EG victory at the top. It was that close.
That was crazy, though. And you are, too, 11-1-10. Quinn, 15-1-10. Like, these guys just... They looked so good, and they played very, very well, for sure. Is it just a matter of the fact that, Arteezy waited a little bit too long to get his own Rapier? I know you've mentioned that, earlier, that you think he probably wanted to get that Aegis first, but...
Well, like all the way at the end there, yes. But as far as the game was going already, like I think they misjudged the speed at which they could take their Roche because they don't have damage on anyone else but Arteezy to get the big man down. And I think that if they judge the game a little bit differently, they keep playing it slow instead of saying, all right, you know what? Because you and I, we were both thinking, right? The timing of Quincy Crew is roughly over. Now EG is going to come on in. And they clearly felt the same. And that is what pushed them to go just that little bit too fast in the end.
It definitely felt like, the magic damage coming up from Quincy Crew wasn't going to be enough against what EG was throwing. But no, they managed to do it. They took a fantastic fight around the Roche pit. They got that rapier in the hands of UR, and the rest is history now. So Quincy Crew's taking game number 1 of the series. I'm wondering, what's going to happen next? Is EG going to be able to bounce back? Do they need to tinker a little bit with, what they're drafting? Or is Quincy Crew going to take this in a clean 2-0 sweep? We'll find out when we come back, Kips.